year, nearly 70 people died in the month of February from drug overdoses. That averages out to more than 2 people a day. Families and recovering addicts pack a local meeting tonight to get free naloxone. The drug helps reverse the effects of an overdose. Fox 45's Kelly May explains a new change to the drug.
Do you remember it being used on you?
No, oh God, no, I was completely unconscious and not responsive. My lips were turning blue and everything.
In the middle of the night, my son runs up and gets me and starts screaming that Ben's overdosed.
The Miami Valley reeling over an epidemic of heroin and fentanyl overdoses. New numbers from the coroner say there were 63 suspected OD deaths in January and 68 in February.
What I pray for is, that my son lives another day.
With so many affected, dozens packed a meeting at FOA, Families of Addicts, tonight to get their hands on this, a free Narcan naloxone kit.
If you've been trained on Narcan and you have a kit and you use it on somebody and you call 911, that you are covered by the Good Samaritan law, so there's no liability.
These are the new kits that are being handed out to people. There's 2 doses of Narcan, that's brand name naloxone, inside them. All you have to do to use it is pop it out of the package and then use it in someone's nasal cavity.
The old kits required the nasal spray be put together, and the dosage is now doubled from 2 to 4 milligrams.
Narcan wears off in about 30 to 90 minutes, and depending on how much of the opiate the person has, they can go back into the overdose.
Project Dawn and Samaritan Behavioral Health doing a training first so people know how to use it in a panic situation.
It can be just the experience knowing that if I don't do this, somebody might die.
The kits are free because of the Montgomery County Human Services levy. For some addicts and their families, they're priceless.
Somebody loves them, and that's enough to give them as many chances as they need.
Well, Dayton and other police jurisdictions who already carry Narcan or naloxone will start carrying the higher 4 milligram dose too. They use the antidote on people who were overdosing 86 times in the month of February. Now, if you did miss this meeting and want a kit of your very own, just click on the story on our website to find out how.
Life-saving procedures are being taught in Dayton tonight. Families of Addicts and Project Dawn offered free Narcan kits and training at a support meeting. Participants learned how to recognize the signs of overdoses, perform rescue breathing, and actually administer Narcan. And one of the organizers says that Narcan is not just for drug overdoses. You should keep it on hand if you're on any kind of heavy medication.
If you have a lot of chronic pain medication, you should have Narcan at your house, because it's real easy when you're in pain to forget when you took your last medicine and go ahead and take too much and overdose. And some of the overdoses are pain medication, not just heroin, which is what people first think of.
Now, if you missed tonight's event, this free training is held every Wednesday at noon at Samaritan Behavioral Center. That is on Edwin C. Moses Boulevard. Well,
in the first 2 months of this year, 120 people have died from drug overdoses in Montgomery County. 2 organizations hope by teaching people how to use Narcan, fewer people will die. And they hope that this free Narcan helps. News Center 7's James Buckley live in Dayton with what some took away from tonight.
Well, James, the group Families of Addicts and Samaritan Behavioral Health held the seminar at the Life Enrichment Center. They were able to give out pamphlets like these and even a DVD of how to use Narcan. Their hope is to make sure drug addicts don't take that lethal overdose.
The number one question I get is, what do I do? Where do I start? I didn't know this was going to happen.
Lori Arian is the executive director of Families of Addicts. Wednesday night was the group's 5th training seminar on these kits of Narcan.
There's been so many overdose deaths lately that I wanted to have another Narcan training.
Narcan is literally a lifesaver.
Colleen Smith works at Samaritan Behavioral Health. They're behind Project Dawn that gives out information on Narcan, including a training DVD. She says many addicts start off on pain meds.
And when that got cut off, they then still had a lot of the pain, and they started going through withdrawal from having their medication cut off, and heroin that's cheap and easy.
They gave out 100 kits, each kit having 2 doses of Narcan. With overdoses rising, Arian says everyone should learn because you never know when you might be able to use them.
They want to be prepared. They want to be educated on how to use it, and you never know. Even someone who might even be afflicted by addiction could run across somebody in a car who's slumped over.
And Smith says if you know someone on pain medication, these kits should be in their home.
Just like if you had a child who's allergic to peanuts, you'd have an EpiPen and everybody would know how to use it.
Now, a nurse told me that when she was working 3 years ago that they took a year to actually hand out 300 Narcan kits. Now it only takes about 3 to 4 months before they end up passing out 300 kits. Reporting live in Dayton, James Buckley, News Center 7.